Today we are making a video on Fedora Workstation Live 38, which is released today, and here is the boot menu of Fedora Linux 38. I already made a lot of videos on Fedora 38 like a beta, pre-release or development version. So here is a stable version released today. So let's boot it in a live mode. So it's going to take a maximum of 1 minute or a minimum of 30 to 40 seconds, usual like every Linux distro. And this is a GNOME desktop environment. I will be doing also desktop spins, so stay tuned for that. So I will be posting 2 videos daily without missing any day, so you need to even know that too. So again, it takes a few more seconds to show up the desktop layout, so we need to be in a patience. So Fedora Linux officially released 38, which we are waiting for a lot of days. So here is our Fedora logo. Sorry if I am stuttering because I'm tired, so keep that in mind. So here is our Fedora logo with the GNOME desktop environment. Should be almost ready to the desktop layout. And another video today I'm making is a Fedora Linux KDE Plasma desktop spin. If you want to look at that, you can also look at that after watching this video completely. So it's always better to watch the full content without skipping. If you want to skip, no problem, you can. So almost done, I guess. It almost took like 30 seconds. Here we are seeing just a black screen. In any second we should be having our desktop. Here is our desktop, and this is the new wallpaper. So I already showed the wallpaper in the previous video, and here is the new installation style. So let's change the display resolution. And I forgot to mention that I'm running it on a virtual machine, which is a VMware with 80 GB of hard disk, 4 GB of RAM and 2 processors. So here is the welcome screen or a welcome to Fedora. This live media can be used to install Fedora or as a temporary system. Installation can be started at any time using the install icon in activities. The install icon is also available in the application menu. So if you want to do installation directly, you can do it. So it's a stable version. This says we don't know if it doesn't has a bugs or it has a bugs. So it's always better idea to it's always better to stay for a few more days instead of installing directly after the release, because we don't know if they have bugs or no. It's always better idea to wait for a few more days, because if they have bugs, they're going to be releasing a point update like a 38.1 like that. So it's better to not point updates, they should be having updates. So it's better idea to wait for a few days instead of ruining your PC. So let's boot it in a live mode first, and then I'll show you the installation process. So if you want to change the display setting, just right click here and display setting, go to display setting. I'm using a VMware, so it automatically changes my resolution. So here is the display resolution to change. If you want to change after the installation, you need to change here. If you can't see the text or a font properly, you can change the scale to 200%. The 1920 into 1080 16:9 ratio with 200% should be good. So that's the best setting I can give you here. So let's go with the about and check the distro info. So the host is live, the device name is host live, and here is my CPU, graphics and disk capacity, which is a hard disk, and the OS name is Fedora Linux 38 Workstation Edition. And it's a 64-bit. GNOME version is not available right now because I booted in a live mode just now. So it will be available in a few more seconds. And the Windows system is a Wayland, and I'm using it as a VMware. So as you can see, virtualization VMware. Kernel version is a 6.2.9-300 and so on so. So let's close this thing and open the system monitor and see how much resources is consumed in the beginning. And again, I'm going to open the system monitor again at the end of the video, so you will get an idea of how much resources are consumed before and after. So you will be having an information of to use this Linux distro or not. So on the process side, these are all the processes running right now. And let's go to the resources, and let me change the color so you can look it properly. So here is the system monitor, and here is the here is the graph. CPU is running good, and the memory is almost 1.2 GB of 4 GB. It's almost 30%, and cache is 1.7 GB. Swap is nothing. So try to remember this thing, or just you can keep this video and put it at the end of the video again side by side. Keeping side by side, you will be having an idea of how much resources are consumed. If you don't want to keep it side by side, you can just remember or write it down, so you will be having an idea of what the resources are consumed. So let me run through until 1 minute of CPU and memory. So you will be having a stable graph of CPU and the RAM, and just ignore the RAM, this network, because it's not important. These two are the important things you need to remember, because it consumes the resources of your PC. So it's almost 1 minute. So here are the graph, 1.2 GB, and it's under 20% or 25%, you can call it. So let's go to the file system. This is the file system. Let's check the version. It should be 44, because GNOME 44 Kuala Lumpur is the latest desktop environment of GNOME. This is the latest version. So let's open the terminal and type in few commands to get the distro info. So about the terminal, which is version 3.48.0 for GNOME 44. So let's close this thing. Let's maximize this thing, and first let's change the background so you can properly see the background. It's now white. So let's type in command like inxi-sv8 to get full distro info. It says command not found, so let's try to install, which is a sudo dnf install inxi. So let's wait for a few seconds. So this is a stable version, so it should take a few seconds. Instead of waiting for this, let's go check out the desktop features. Here are the desktop features, the dark style, or all the things, dark mode or a night mode. You can see the wallpaper is changed. The latest GNOME desktop environment 44 also has like a background apps like this at the bottom. So there are few other options. If you want to check that out, you can check out my other videos of GNOME 44 Kuala Lumpur content if you want. So here is our calendar. So here are our activities. These are all the pre-installed apps which comes with the Fedora 38. So just a common and usual things which already you've seen in every Fedora Linux or GNOME desktop environment. So these are the things. So here is the tour. We didn't run the tour, so let's run the tour. Start the tour. As you can see, learn about the key features in Fedora Linux 38 Workstation Edition. Get an overview. Press the super key to see open windows and apps, which is a super key is like a window key. So just type to search. You can search the apps or the applications, or whatever you call it, or settings. You can search it, everything. Keep on top with workspaces. You can add workspaces. And up and down for the overview. I'm using a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard, so I'm not going to show. I'm also using the VMware, so if I choose to do this thing, 3-tab mouse on the laptop, it's going to open my other operating system, because I'm using a Windows 11. So I'm running it on a virtualization, so it's going to open the Windows 11, so I'm not going to do that. So let's go to the right side. And these are the options you need to, if you install it on your laptop, so you will be having these all options. If you're running a VMware or a virtual box, it's going to open the other operating system or the main operating system you're running. So be careful while doing that. I think that's it we have, and we are installed almost. We need to type Y to continue, or yes, Y for yes and N for no. It's going to install some packages for INXi. So these are all the packages. So we need to wait for a few seconds. Just type in Y. It's almost done, I guess. It's in an installation process. Just a few more seconds, and we should be having our INXi installed, and we should put our command, so we will get a full distro info. almost, I guess. Ignore my mouse sound and the keyboard sound because my mic try to pick up everything. So let's type in the command which is complete now, inxi-sv8. Click on enter. We should be getting our full distro info. Here is our full distro info. Let me go through all these things. So host is alive, and kernel is which I already mentioned, and Fedora 38, and it's a 64-bit architecture. Compiler GCC version is 2.39-9, and GDM version is 43.0. GTK version is 3.24.37. Desktop is GNOME version 44.0, and distro is Fedora release 38. And I'm running it on a virtual machine, so it says machine under VMware, as you can see. And RAM is 4 GB, which I already mentioned. I am using it on a VMware with a 4 GB of RAM. And here is the consumption of the RAM, almost 1.45 GB, almost 38%. So here is my CPU. Let's go scroll it down and get some other info. And VMW GFX version is 2.20.00, as you can see. And display is a VLAN. Server is Xorg version 22.1.9 with XVLAN version is 22.1.9. And let's scroll it down, and here are the monitor resolutions available. You can choose anything. OpenGL version is 4.1, sorry for that, and Mesa is 23.0.1. These are all the important info if you want. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore it. If you are a normal user, no problem. And 80 GB of hard disk, and used is here. So let's scroll it down and find some more info. And the process are running right now are 296. Uptime is 9 minutes. We are using the distro from 9 minutes. Wake-ups are 93. Initiate systemd version is 253. Bash version is 5.2.15, and INXI version is 3.26. If you want to get all the distro, all this information of the distro in a short form, just type in like these commands, like INXI. Again INXI dash small b and hit enter. INXI dash capital G. These are all the same info which you see or saw before. So let's type in cat. This is the different command, cat etc issue. This is a kernel, and let's type in the neofetch. You need to, if you want to install the neofetch, just type in sudo dnf install neofetch. I'm not going to install neofetch because we almost got every information of the distro, so we don't need to install it. Let's type in htop. Htop is also not available. Let's type in to install it, sudo dnf install htop, and click on enter. So here is the installation process. Press Y to install and N for no. And it should take like a 10 or 15 seconds maximum to install the htop. It doesn't take that much of time, just in a fraction of seconds we have a htop installed. And here is the htop if you want to see clearly of a memory, which is 896 MB of 4 GB, which is almost 900 MB, and the swap is almost 5 MB. So tasks are 117. Ignore my keyboard and mouse once again. My microphone picks up everything. So let's close this thing. Let me show you how to download the Fedora Linux 38 from their official website. So let's launch the Firefox web browser, which is a default web browser in every Linux distro. Almost 70 to 80% of every Linux distro. Sometimes you will be having a Chrome, Chromium, or like a Microsoft Edge in some Linux distros. Just a few Linux distros and a Falcon web browser. But Fedora has always a Firefox. About Firefox, which should be a latest version. Not the latest version, it's a 111. The latest version is 1112. So let's type in Fedora as a search term to find the it's not the magazine. If you want to read the Fedora Linux 38 release note, it's just here. You can just read everything what is new in here. GNOME 44, which I already mentioned, Kuala Lumpur. File chooser, you need to have some pictures or something like that. I already showed this in a beta version and a pre-release, but here is some info if you want to read. Here are the some features of the notifications and settings like this, and these are the things I mentioned in the beginning of the video, which is a background apps, some core applications. These are the few settings I'm just going to show you in a few seconds or a few minutes. These are some other settings if you want. Let's just end this thing and let's just go to the downloads. So let's type in the search term as a Fedora, because that's the website, or that's the search term to get to the website. Just type in Fedora Linux or a Fedora in the search engine of your favorite search engine, like a Google or a DuckDuckGo, anything you have, start page, something like that, everything. This is the website. If you want to directly type the URL, this is the website, getfedora.org. You can even type that in the search bar. So this is the URL, and here is our Fedora Linux 38, and here is the new look, or the new website look. As you can see, Fedora Linux 38 latest release. Here are the available options. If you want to go through any of these options, you can go. And if you want to download the workstation, just click on download now on the Fedora Workstation, and the available ISO files are available here. For AMD and Intel, it's Fedora Linux 38 Live ISO. Here is the download option. It's for ARM or Arch64 systems and PowerPC systems. Here it is, and some other options. So we need to download the Intel and AMD x64, and it's only available in a 64-bit. So to verify the ISO file, just click on it. To download the ISO, just click on this thing or this icon, and we should be having our Fedora Linux 38. I don't know why it takes a lot of time. I forgot to mention that I'm using a VPN, so remember that too. So it's almost a 2 GB of file size. When you download, it says 1.9 GB, but it's a 2 GB of file size. So let's close this thing. I showed the website, I showed the download, so let's close this thing. And I'm going to show you the installation process. Just for formality, I'm just going to show you the installation process. I'm not going to install it because I don't want to. So installation application should take like a few seconds, depend on your PC or depends on the Linux distro. I'm running a 12th gen CPU, so we should be having our installation here. So first you need to choose your language. I'm just going to choose the English language. We should be having our English here. English language, choose any language you want. One of my viewers said choose the United Kingdom or a British English in my previous video or yesterday video, so I'm going to choose that for you. So here is the English, United Kingdom. Click on continue. You can choose any language you want. So just for my viewer, I'm going to choose that English UK. So automatic partition. Here you should be having your hard disk. Always remember, it's going to erase everything if you're booting with a single boot like that. So be careful while choosing these options, and be careful what you're doing here. You need to have an idea. Just don't blindly go through all these things. And always remember, try to install after you are satisfied with the live boot. First, always use the live boot. After you are satisfied without any bugs, just go with the installation. After that, just don't go for the installation right as you download. So be careful, because it should be having some bugs. If it doesn't have any bugs, so you are good to go. If it has bugs, it's going to ruin your PC, so I don't want you to ruin your PC. It's a better idea to always boot it in a live mode. So let's go to the installation process back, and let's choose our location. You don't need to give your actual location. You can give any location you want. I'm choosing America, Los Angeles. You can do that right here, or you can just point it out on the mouse. I know where the countries are. So this is in Australia, this is in New Zealand, this is in Canada. So you can do anything. You can choose any location here. I'm choosing Los Angeles. So this is the complete installation process. There's nothing. Just click on begin installation. It should take a maximum of 20 minutes if you have a bad PC. If you're having a good and the latest PC, it should take like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's the maximum time it should take. So if you have a low end PC, or it's you know what I'm trying to say here, some low end PC, it should take a lot of time, and that's the installation process. After the installation process, it's going to say you need to reboot your system, and you should be having your Fedora Linux 38 on your hard disk as a single boot. If you choose erase everything, and if you choose the partitions like that, you should be having a dual boot with the dual operating systems. So that's the process of installation. Let's close and end this thing, and let's go through some of the apps which are available right here. Let's go to the contacts and check the information, or the about the info of the app. So it should be 44 because the latest version is a 44. Contacts is a 44 version. Let's open Fedora Media Writer. I'm just going to run through every app because some people want to know the available apps or a pre-installed apps version too. So for them, here it is. And about the Fedora Media Writer, it's a version 5.0.6. And here is our weather app. About weather, it's a 44. You need to remember that it's a 44 GNOME 44 desktop environment. Almost every app should be GNOME 44 because the desktop environment, GNOME desktop environment apps are all these things. So again 44. I'm trying to open every app because we need to see how much resources it will consume after opening all the apps, and you should be having an idea of how much resources will consume after you install or boot it in a live mode. 44 again, maps. Let's open the LibreOffice. This version should be different because it doesn't comes with the GNOME desktop environment. So the version should be like a 7.5, something like that. That was the latest version. Let's see what version we get in a Fedora 38 stable version. And here is our LibreOffice. The version is 7.5.2.2, which is the latest version, and a 64-bit. If you want to see info, here it is the info. So let's close this thing and open other apps. The LibreOffice calculator, Impress, everything should be same version, and the icons are changed as you can see. That is pretty good. That looks pretty nice. Videos version is a 44. Calculator version is a 44. So let's check the document scanner. And after this all apps opening, I'm going to show you these settings. 44 version, document scanner should be 44. So let's close this thing. Let's quickly open all the apps, and let's go to the settings after these things. So let's do that. Here is a tutorial which is simple and common, and you already saw all these things about boxes in the previous videos. Here is the stable version of 44.1. I think the latest version of GNOME 44, it should be like a 0.4 or 5. I don't know the point releases, what latest point release is. So here are some other desktop environment apps of GNOME. So let's quickly open every app instead of opening one by one. And let's check the task, how much good it takes, how many apps we can open. So document viewer, we already have 4 apps running right now. Let's see how many apps we get still. Rhythm box, I don't want to crash it because I don't think it should be crashing right now because it's a stable version. We don't know because if we have bugs, we should be having a crash. So I think we opened every app. So let's quickly check the version of the apps. About image viewer, which is a 44. Let's close this thing. And text editor is also 44. And cheese 43 alpha. And the rhythm box should be like a 3 or something like that, 3.4.6. Let's close this thing. Document viewer should be also 44. And connections, here are some info of the connections. If you want, close it. Let's check the version. It should be like a 44, I guess. It's also 44. Let's close this thing. And devices and location, same as 44.0. Let's close this thing. And let me go through the settings which are available or changed. And after settings, we open the system monitor and end the video because we almost covered everything. On the network side, we have same options. On the Bluetooth, same. On the appearance, you will be having some other options, and it usually takes some time. And there are some other wallpapers, not much more wallpapers available, just a few wallpapers. Here are few wallpapers, and some of them which were already available in the past versions, so remember that too. I think this is the latest wallpaper or the new wallpapers. Let's quickly change them. This is the new wallpaper. It's a bit of lag because it's going to take a few seconds to change the wallpaper. Let's keep that wallpaper. On the notification side, we have nothing changed. On the search, we have nothing changed. On the multitasking, there are some options available here. As you can see, you can go through all these things if you want to customize. These are the apps option, nothing changed. On the privacy side, you have a screen lock, location service, cameras. Always turn off some of the options like a location, camera, microphone, because it's always a good idea to keep the things private or a privacy, because only use or turn on while you're using. It's a better or a good habit to do that, so you will be safe instead of accidentally doing something like that. So it's always better to turn off all these things if you're using a webcam, so all the location service, microphone, like that. So it's a good habit to turn it off. Only turn it on while you're using, just turn it off after you use. Online accounts, some fonts are changed or icons are changed, nothing changed other than that. Sharing, sounds, nothing changed. Power, nothing changed. Display, nothing changed. Mouse and touchpad are changed. Here are some other animation effects you can see. Traditional, natural, right and left, pointer speed, mouse acceleration. If you want, you can get the description of what is mouse acceleration. Let's go to the keyboard. Nothing changed here. On the printers, nothing changed. Removable media, nothing changed. Color, nothing changed. Region and language, we have a bit of a lag or delay there. Language, accessibility, these are other options changed here. Seeing, hearing, typing, pointing and clicking, these are all the new features. Zoom, if you want to go through all these things, just download and go through on your own. These are the username, which is also same. Default tabs, also same. Date and time should be also same, and it's almost about we already saw that. And you can see that GNOME version is all available here. Before we are beginning at the video, it was not available. Right now it's available. As soon as you type in the command to get distro info, you should be seeing GNOME version available. So I think that's it for the video. Let's check the system monitor and see how much resources are consumed. Before it was like a 1.3 GB or 1.2 GB, I guess. These are all the processors running right now, as you can see. And let's go to the resources and check the memory. It's almost 2.2 GB. Before it was like a 1.3 GB, I guess. Almost 700 to 800 MB is more right now. If you ask me, it's for low-end PC or a 2 GB of RAM PC, so it's not a good option to choose the Fedora Linux for your 2 GB of RAM, because it's going to be a lag and it should be a mental torture for you. Just for 2 GB of RAM, you can't run this Fedora Linux. You can run, but it should be a bit of lag. So here is the CPU consumption and the RAM consumption, and this is the network. If you want to get the detail, or if you want to know what exactly the resources are consumed, just put the video side by side of the beginning of the video and ending of the video. You should be having a info. Or if you don't want to remember or keep it side by side, just write down the beginning of the video of RAM and CPU, and at the ending of the video you should be having resources, exact resources consumed. So cache is 2.4 GB, it was 1.7 GB. So these are the info. So let's close this thing. Let me open the internet browser, and I'm going to show you my channel. This part is only for the viewers who want to watch my content without subscribing. People who already subscribed, no need to watch this, you can skip it. In order to go to my channel, just type in youtube.com/9to5linux. Just type in this URL in the web browser. If you are using a web browser in a mobile TV or a tab, just you need to type in the complete URL like youtube.com/9to5linux. If you are using a YouTube app installed in your TV, mobile or a tab, just need to type in 9to5linux in the YouTube app. It's going to open my channel. So let's click on enter and it should be having our channel. I'm using a VPN, so it should take a few seconds normally instead of normal. So here is our channel. So I'm going to show you some important info only if you care. If you don't care, it's no problem. So let's go to the about. I'll be posting 2 videos daily without missing any day. So I mentioned here today's another video is also Fedora 38 with a KDE Plasma desktop environment, which is a stable version. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out after watching this video. Here are the timings you need to remember, or you need to visit at this timings. The video should be available before the timings because I'll put it in a premiere mode. So here are some info if you want to read it. If you want to search for a specific Linux distro, you can type it here, like for example Fedora. So you should be having the latest videos. I made a beta version, pre-release, a desktop spins of a beta version. Everything should be available here. As you can scroll down, I make as soon as the ISO file is released. You don't need to wait for some other channels or some other people. If you want, you can check out other channels. I have no problem. So I here the point is that I will be giving you the latest content. That's the main point I'm going to mention here. So this is the search term. You can type in your favorite search term or a favorite Linux distro here. You should be getting the latest versions here. So if you are here only for the Linux content, just go to the playlist. You will find a Linux playlist here. Click on view full playlist under a Linux playlist, and you should be having a tons of videos, almost like 1.6 videos. I covered every Linux distro, like 70 to 80% of every Linux distro which are available in this world. The discontinued version, beta version, development version, whatever it is, I made a content on it. So you can play all or shuffle. I almost cover like different types or variety of every Linux distro. So you can do that here. So I think that's it. If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. If you don't want, it's clearly up to you. I'm not going to force you. Again, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out. Again, I forgot to mention, or I already mentioned, that I'm making another video of Fedora 38 KDE Plasma today. If you want to watch it after this.